Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 458. Really excited to chat with the girls about the new Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailer. Plus, we're going to pour one out for another game industry loss and much, much more. But before we get into that, I want to introduce you to the friendly voices around this digital table. Catherine, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. You?
I'm excellent. Joelle, what's up?
Hello, I am great. I'm so happy to be here. It's been a hot minute.
I know. We've been playing a little bit of tag and stuff. Thank you very much for holding down the fort.
Of course.
On the podcast and hosting. Yes. I appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, let's get through some housekeeping. I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. I almost did it, but I caught myself. Not going to note that I actually had to do the intro to this show 3 times, but I managed to get through the YouTube Music thing. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Or maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Not going to lie, ladies, the real reason I wanted to talk to you is because I got to see Deadpool and Wolverine, and Joelle, I think you saw it?
Hell yeah, I did see it.
I haven't made it yet.
Oh. Catherine, you have to go!
It's in my plans for like a rainy day during my vacation.
Like soon?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
All
so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on Saturday night, and Mike and I did like a real like dinner and a movie. We went to the Keg, where we had wine, and then we went to VIP, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And I ordered a drink before I went in, and I'm like, ooh, I'll get the fishbowl. That'll be frugal. It's only a few extra dollars, and then I won't have to buy another drink when I'm in there. It was a literal fishbowl of a drink.
I've
we
done
can
that.
be economical. 2 thumbs up, Leah, for just doing one and done, baby.
You're basically drinking an entire like gallon to yourself. Like
there was a mini sparkling wine bottle in the bowl upside down. I was like, what am I doing? But, ladies, okay, so I know, obviously, you drink that much stuff, especially me too. You're going to have to go pee at some point during the movie, right?
Yeah.
And, like, even though this movie is, like, I think the runtime is 2 hours and 8 minutes, so it's not a ridiculously long one, but I was talking to Mike about this because I had this literal bowl that I had to carry into the theater. It was huge. People actually stopped me and asked what I ordered. But I had heard that there is this website that actually gives you guidance on when you should potentially go pee in the movie. So while we're sitting before going into the movie, as I was handed this ginormous bowl of alcohol, I went and looked it up. They have an app. It's called Run Pee. And I actually used it during the movie because it sent you alerts when the best time is to go. It tells you, it tells you when you should start it. It gives you some suggestions in case you don't, like, you're not like me, you don't have, like, a watch going on so you can get an alert, right? Because, obviously, you know, mute your phone during the movie.
Yes.
But, yeah, I tried it out, and it worked. It gave me a good suggestion, and I ran and peed and got Mike some popcorn.
Oh, wow. That is handy.
So, yeah, I was like, I need to talk about this on the podcast, because I'm sure there are other folks who have, especially now with all these movies that are, like, 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, and you buy these drinks and they're just like ginormous, and you're just like, I got to go.
Yeah.
I remember watching Titanic in theaters and needing to pee, and you know the boat starts sinking and there's water everywhere and they're sloshing and they're just running all over the boat, and I was like, oh my god, just die already, I gotta pee. This is like a core memory now in my mom's head of me just sitting in the movie theater just being like, oh, die, please, I gotta pee. And then I just went, and I got out.
Just let go, Jack. Just let go.
Just let go.
I
can let go.
And I came back into theater, and the boat hasn't sunk yet. And I was like, there's a literal 20 minutes of shit, the boat is sinking. Run,
Yes.
the boat is sinking. The boat is sinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's I didn't miss much, to be honest. Once I rewatched it after, where you needed the 2 VHS tapes because the movie was so fucking long.
Yeah, two VHS tapes. Not even
Dates us.
DVDs.
Yep.
It dates us.
Yep.
That does it.
So
I think it didn't even fit on a single DVD.
It didn't.
Probably did on a Blu-ray, not on a DVD.
Anyway, but 2
Remember
hours.
we had games that were like that?
Yes, Final Fantasy, on
Final
PS1.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
They were
Lunar,
3 to 4
Silver Star
CDs.
Story? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
All those long
RPGs.
JRPGs, were
Wow.
on 2 to 3 or 4. I remember 4 CDs, I think, for Final Fantasy 9, I want to say.
I wonder what younger generations would do if they had to, I think that's why it's, such a novel thing. Now it's you have to put in the thing into a thing and then do another one. There's physical action I must do to continue my quest. And it's I don't know.
I have to get out of my chair?
Yeah.
I don't have to press a button, or just I yell at the friggin' Netflix when it tells me you've been watching too long, or do you want to keep going? I was like, don't shame me.
Now it's just insulting you.
Yeah. That's the one shame I have about my career as a UI designer in the video game industry. I will never make a screen that says end of disc 1, insert disc 2.
Damn.
Rip.
Damn.
Rip
is right. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was something I wanted to share, and that Deadpool and Wolverine is awesome, and it's exactly what I needed it to be, and it was made for us, those of us who had lived through all of the X-Men movies when we were super excited about that.
Yes.
And yeah, it was great. And I won't spoil a thing. Go watch it, Kat. And then
So good, though.
We'll talk through it.
Me and my friend are supposed to go.
There's an abundance of goodies for fans. It was, I was overwhelmed by how many things there. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I got out of the theater and I kind of want to go see it again to see what I missed the first time, because there's so much. And the credits were so touching. So I thought the credits were very touching. So definitely, as always, stay for the credits. But it was really, really well done.
Yeah, I got out of the movie and went, again!
Yeah.
Again! I got home and watched one of the new... I think they have a few different ones out right now, but there's one that's everything that the new Rockstars guys went and saw in, them picking out all the things and how it relates and everything. That video's an hour and 15 minutes long, too.
That's a lot.
That's a half the movie.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's so much good in there. But those guys do great work. I don't know if you guys watch that kind of stuff on YouTube at all, break down trailer analysis and things like that, and the new I think it's called New Rockstars. Yeah, New Rockstars. They're great on YouTube. You should check them out. Actually, I think the very first movie that they had done it for, the guy who kind of runs it, Eric Voss, was the first Deadpool trailer. So it was kind of cool. A touching thing for him. So yeah. Yay for movies being back.
Yeah, that was fun. We're old fogies. We went on Saturday morning at 10:30 in the morning.
That's actually a pro move.
We had other things to do, and so I was like, well, I always want to see these movies as early as I can to avoid all the spoilers. Mm-hmm. So I have a movie purse that I pack and keep because it's big enough where I can fit a bunch of snacks in it.
Good call.
And but they never check it because it's it's just kind of a big purse, and we low key fit drinks, popcorn, snacks, and 2 sandwiches because we were gonna be there over lunchtime, so we packed our own sandwiches.
I love that.
That is a pro move.
It was stacked, and so I was sitting there, and the people next to me probably thought I was fucking Mary Poppins because I just kept on pulling food out of my purse. It was just
Felix
constant.
with that bag, you know,
it was
everything in the bag.
It was pretty funny, but I don't know. We had a good time. We also had something. We had something that we had to get to after, so we were just like, well, we might as well just eat during the movie, and then we packed food and snacks. And I did buy a water because movie theaters need the snack patronage, so I did buy a water to make sure that I gave my due diligence. But anyway,
and one water was probably the price of your entire bag of snacks.
Yeah, that's it. I think so. Yeah, so I thought we were even.
Yeah, I went out and bought like popcorn and a drink, and it cost me $17, and I was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Oh my god. So
popcorn.
Did you get the Wolverine popcorn bucket?
No, it was whatever they had at the regular one in VIP. Right. I know. I heard about those.
Wah, wah.
I was actually jelly too because when I was home on vacation, E-Talk filmed a special out in the parking lot here on Queen Street, and it was with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Sean Levy, cool. And my colleagues were at it, and I was like, why did I choose this week to go on vacation? That's okay. It's all right.
FOMO.
It happens all the time. I have FOMO for all my friends at Osheaga this weekend, but here we are. What were you ladies up to, Catherine?
Oh, well, I am starting off my staycation with extra adulting because y'all I talked endlessly about my appliances. So today I had a cleaner come over to clean our heat pumps. So we got the dual heat pump system, the compressor outside in the head.
Yeah.
That shit was nasty and full of mold. So it turns out these kinds of systems will grow mold. And there's ways to use them to prevent mold, but they will inevitably grow mold because there's a lot of water and humidity. So yeah, you need to get that shit cleaned. And we did both apartments. And when we went downstairs to do the one in my brother's apartment, and reminder, they are 6 people living downstairs. His was even worse. It was, but yeah, he was like, the cleaner was like, you need to do this every 2 to 3 years. And we're like, yeah, we're 6 years in, we know.
You forget, man. You forget.
Yeah, but the dude was really good and really nice, and I'm like, I'm gonna call you in 2 years. And then he comes, he cleans, I go around my day, whatever. After supper, I look out the window, he's still parked in front, and I'm like, I text my brother, I'm like, is he having van troubles? And my brother's like, yeah, I tried to boost him. He had to go to Canadian Tire to get a new battery for his truck, and I was like, okay. Poor dude's he already showed up late. He texted me. He's like, I'm being held up. Is 3 p.m. good for you in Silva? And I'm like, yeah. And then at the end of this, he was just double parked with a dead van. And I'm just like,
oh.
And we've had a huge heat wave. And today's the day that the rain pulled in. So all of this in pouring rain. I was like, oh my God, poor dude. Poor guy. But he was, it was very nice. But yeah. And I also booked an appointment for my stove because one of my elements died. One of my little heating rounds there.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay. And they're like, I booked the thing and they're like, hey, just the visit is $135. So I'm like, a new stove is $600, $700. If for about $150, the stove is going to last, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm just really scared that they're going to be yeah, we don't have parts for this. Because my stove, she's old. And I don't have money to buy a new one yet. I would like it to last at least until next summer. So that I can afford the stove. But yeah, and first week of vacation is going to be stuff around the house with my brother. We're just going to do stuff to take care of the duplex. A honey-do list that hasn't gotten around to do. Going to do 5 days of that. And then...
So is vacation this week?
This
and
week.
Next week?
Yeah. So today's my first day of vacation.
Nice.
And then next week is going to be just going to see my mother, hang out with friends, possibly catching the movie. But on Wednesday, this Wednesday, though, I am going to see Curios, the new Cirque du Soleil show. Curious.
Cool.
Curios?
I think it's,
I think it's a play on curious.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the
Gotta love
circus.
Cirque.
they're there every summer, I think, in the Old Port. So yeah, me and my friend Uva were gonna go see that on Wednesday. She bought tickets like a while back. So
Nice.
yeah, she's also off work right now, so she was like, "When's your vacation? Let's go on a random night." So there's like better tickets and better prices, and we're like,
good
"Yep."
call.
I'm like, anything but Monday or Tuesday is fine with me, girl. She was like, random Wednesday it is.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know how
Every time
good
we
that
have a
is.
long weekend, I'm like, yeah, we're potted tonight. Same bat time, same bat
Bad
channel.
channel. But yeah, I'll let you know how good the show is. Yeah, I think it's a play on Curious because it's like the Cabinet of Curiosities. I think that's the theme of this one.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one. I think it's a new one. I've seen a bunch of theirs. Some shows come and go, but that one I haven't seen. So I'm sure it's going to be good.
I find that they always, because it's based out of Montreal, they always kind of do their new ones there first to kind of like get their, you know, get all the issues out and things like that. I visited their facilities once as part of school. I went and saw how they made the costumes and stuff. It's pretty cool because they hand dye and hand make everything.
Fun fact, their offices are close to where I live, and I went there once for a COVID vaccine.
Oh.
At the Cirque building?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they have their offices, and basically during COVID, when they had the big vaccination campaigns, like the one with the waves, and you have to wait for your age group and blah blah blah.
Yes.
They basically went and small clinics. We have in Quebec, we have CLSCs, which are like small local healthcare providers. But they also ask businesses that had like a big enough building, so they have the entire building to themselves, right? If they were willing to host some of these clinics with the added benefit that they would help vaccinate their employees. So basically, I went once there for a vaccination clinic to get a COVID vaccine on the first floor. It's a really nice building. I think it's new, ish. But yeah, they're in Saint Michel. I think it's considered Saint Michel. It's basically on the other side of the 40.
Yeah, I remember being out there, but mind you, it was like 17, 18 years ago. So
yeah, I think
probably changed some stuff. It was the facility where they had like the stuff for them to practice, plus make all the costumes,
I think what happened in the last years is they bought La Tohu, which was another circus troupe in another circus building, and they had their building there in that area. Because that area is like industrial. There's like a big eco center where like it's basically a dump. Literally a dump. That's where we go for extra trash and recycling. And then next to that there was Leto, which was like a permanent circus installation that you could go see show. Mm-hmm. And now the new Cirque du Soleil building is like next to that. So I have a feeling like they might have purchased that circus troupe and now they're in that area because they have and use those installations.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, some backstory, some lore.
Some
you
lore.
guys.
Some Catherine lore from the
some
COVID
random I live in
experiences.
Montreal lore.
Joelle, what have you been up to?
Oh my goodness. So many things. So yeah, I apologize for last week. It's just we were doing our open water, finishing up for scuba, and that went really late, and we just couldn't get back in time. And then I got back. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock. I was falling asleep. It took so much out of me. But yeah, we're finishing that up. Yeah, went and saw the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which was so fun. And this weekend, we also put a little tally in the Elder Millennial column because we learned how to play pickleball.
The fuck is pickleball?
It's like
old
tennis.
tennis.
It's like tennis
Yeah.
with a smaller racket. and a smaller ball, kind of like a squash ball.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's usually for...
But it became super trendy. Like, it started just before the pandemic, and then people were out playing it during the pandemic, and it was like everywhere.
Yeah, this is like slackline, and that thing where you slap the ball in the middle is like... you know, somebody shows up with a trampoline, you
I know what you're talking about.
And there's a ball, and you slap it into the trampoline to the next people, and you slap it. It's just weird trends.
Yeah, so we're doing that because our gym offers a free intro class, and I wanted to try it because I think it's fun. And so we did that, and then they had open court for beginners the next day. So then we went and did open court, and then it's like a round robin type of thing where you just whoever's like the 4 people that are available, you go onto the court and you play. And then when you're done, you go back into the like lounge little waiting area, and then you wait for a court to open up, and then you like go play. So you get to like mash up and like play with a bunch of different people that are at the beginner skill level. And I say that because like some people, like, you know, we knew we had like a day right under us, and there are some people there that like played tennis, that transitioned to pickleball, so they were like really good. So I keep sending rackets, like over to Ryan to get our own pickleball rackets because the club gives kind of like cheaper ones, and he keeps denying me. So I think just one day he's gonna come home and there's gonna be a bunch of rackets on the counter because I'm gonna buy some pickleball rackets. But so I'm definitely driving that the sport. But we did have a good time. The people were super nice, and like, you know, we told them, like, we learned this yesterday. So the rules are extremely complicated. They do not need to be so hard. Like, the rules are a little ridiculous. And, like, scoring is really kind of goofy. But it is fun, and people have a good time. And, you know, there's a lot of different age ranges, too. Like, there were some people, you know, that were a little bit older than us, and there were some other folks that were about our age, and there were some folks that were younger, and there was the younger kid that was there, like maybe he was like, I don't know, like 13 or something, and since he was underage, he had to have an adult with him, and so his grandma was there with him, and she was in the lounge area with everyone, and she was offering everyone snacks.
Oh my God.
So we got goldfish snacks as we were waiting for our pickleball turn.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, could we always play while she's here?
Yeah.
You're my new friend. Come to my every game that I play pickleball.
Could you have orange slices in your bag, please?
Oh my God.
So it was really fun. So we've been kind of out and about and doing that, and then fingers crossed this weekend we do our open water certification take 2 in Minnesota to get scuba. So hopefully we'll get the scuba thing wrapped up this weekend.
You doing that Saturday or Sunday or
both? It's 2 days.
Oh, it's a 2-day adventure.
It
wow.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, there's it's 2 days. And we got to go 30 feet underwater, and we got to do a bunch of skills, and we practice skills every day, and then our instructor has to sign off that we've done them. And I guess since it's in a lake, they do this often in this lake. They use this, and so there's like platforms that are permanently in the lake that like we sink down to, and then it's like in a square. They're connected in a square, and you just kind of swim around the square, and they like purposely like put a plane wing there. There's like an old boat there, so you can like look at stuff as you're swimming.
Neat.
In this kind of large square, so that you're not just looking at the sunfish, because that's probably like all there's to look at down there. So and we have to be in a wetsuit because it's cold. It's colder, I guess. So we got some stuff to work out, I guess, when we go this weekend. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see how it goes. So
exciting. And then you'll be done. You'll be certified.
Yes, hopefully then we'll be done, and we don't have to take more classes, because this is our second. This has been a very expensive hobby that we've tried to do, because we had to do it once in Miami, and then I did a private lesson here, and then we did another lesson because we had to finish up our certification, because shocking, in Miami they didn't do everything for us. So it was like, she's like, did you do this? We're like, no. Did you do this? No. She's like, all right, we're gonna have to start over and do some stuff. God. So I was like, okay. But yeah, so hopefully after this weekend we'll be certified, and we might take a dive trip with the shop soon, because we really like the dive shop, and so we might look into one of their trips. So we might go on a dive trip.
That's cool. You should go write a Yelp review on that spot in Miami and put in all your rage about how they mishandled it and didn't give you all the training. So. Okay, good.
I did it immediately while everything was fresh.
Roar! Clack, 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 clack.
Yeah. We did it immediately. So
nice. Okay, good. All right, ladies. I really want to know what you're playing, but first, Fantasy Critic. Let's see. In the podcast league,
I think I got fucked over by Avowed.
Oh yeah, because that one got pushed. So rankings are still the same. Me, Joelle, the cat. Then yeah, Cat, you're kind of stuck right now. But it's just like you sit at 0. It's not like it's negative. Look at it this way. It's not me in Elden Ring where I lost 28 points. You're just sitting at 0. That's the way I look at it right now.
Can I drop it because it won't release, or I'm stuck with it because it was counterpick?
I think you can try and drop it and see what happens, and try and pick something else up. It's not like you're going to get any money back, right? Like, you'll just have money to spend on something else.
Yeah, I can try that.
Give that a go. But I don't know if you can, because I think it was counterpicked.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it was counterpick.
No, hold on. Dragon Age.
I don't think so.
No, it's not. No,
it's not counterpick.
No, it's not locked.
Oh, I can drop it.
It's just calendar year one. Well, this game will not release this year, so that's it right now. I have one too. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. I could do the same thing. All right, we might have to try that afterwards. I have a game that's not going to come out this year. But I know I picked up a counter pick, so let's see if anybody else did anything else. History. Nope, just me. On August 3rd, counterpicks successful. I acquired Prison Architect 2 with a bid of $5. So I've got a full catalog right now, except for Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which is not coming out this year. Catherine has a full thing, similar thing. She's got Avowed. And then Joelle, you still got 2 games to pick up, girl.
I know. I know. I'm secretly hoping for something that won't come, but I wants it to come. But yeah, I know. She
wants it.
Yeah.
On the Community League, where are we sitting? Darth's at the top. Then we've got Offshore Meteor. Then Pat. Then Ross. Then Albane. Then Jessica Starr. Then me. Then Phoenix. Then Stainsby Kingsby. Then Zhang Pao. Hard to say here kind of where everybody sits. Albane, buddy, you gotta go get some games, man. You got 4 games to pick up. And things are becoming harder to come by, man. Similar situation, I guess. Offshore Meteor has counterpicked Avowed. Then who actually has that in our group? Jessica Starr does. So I don't know. Since you guys got a counterpicked against each other, I don't know if they can be dropped. We might need Darth to come help us out with that. Kyle, we need to figure that out.
Yeah, see, I
don't know.
I have like a double problem, is that I only have $4 left, and the minimum bid in our podcast league is $5.
Oh, so you might as well just sit at 0 then.
So even if I drop the game, I can't bid on a new game. So
yeah, there's no
fuck
point
me,
then.
I guess.
Okay. So the only action that happened this week in the community channel was also me. I counterpicked Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind with a bid of $5 because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna take. Oh my god, do I have all my games on this one too? I don't even remember. Where's Gibson's games?
No,
Where
you had
is it?
some to pick if I remember correctly.
I have 2 left to pick. So yeah, that's where the Fantasy Critic League stands, and we're ramping up. We're almost in the middle of August. So, games are going to start coming fast and furious down the pipeline. So I hope everybody's got their roster all figured out. Okay, let's talk about what everybody's playing. Catherine, what is this that I read in the document?
All right.
Is Pascal trying to get you to play Elden Ring?
And this is indirectly because of Joel.
Haha.
Really?
Because he fucking listens to this podcast, all right?
Of course he does. Hi, Pascal.
He's probably one of our most loyal listeners. And I got a DM while I'm at work being like, I hope Joel didn't discourage you from trying Elden Ring. You should definitely play it. And then we go back and forth about this game, about what about this game you think I'm going to play or I'm going to like? And he's like, you play Ghost of Tsushima, it's basically the same thing. So on the side, I start poking a colleague.
Joel's shaking her head, by the way.
Yeah. And it's like, I love Haval with all my heart, because he's basically the type of gamer, he's like half of me, half of Pascal put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's met Pascal because we went to a work thing together where plus ones are invited, and I was like, Haval, this man is telling me Elden Ring is like Ghost of Tsushima. And his answer was, well, there's a sword and a horse. That's all. That's the only 2 things that are in common.
That's no lies.
He really wants you to just try it, and he's throwing everything at you to just try it.
I'm just like, because I've talked at length about Ghost of Tsushima with Haval. I'm like, this man. I'm like, I play games on fucking easy. I've played games on easy for years. As soon as I turned 30, I was like, I am bottom difficulty kind of gal for the rest of my life. So anyway, so there might be a chance that I link my Steam library with Pascal and I try Elden Ring.
So
or I might buy it on Xbox and see the refund window. But I don't think I'm willing to give it the good baseball try, because this is my spouse's most favorite game ever. And I want to try it if he says that I can possibly play it. But every time I've seen him play it, I look at the HUD and I look at the menu and I look at the fact that there's no quest log and stuff like that. I'm like, what about this game you want me to play? He's like, you can ignore the bad UI and the bad UX. I'm like, have you met me?
This is her job!
Oh my God.
I can't turn it off. I cannot turn it off. I play games. I enjoy games. But yes, I will, halfway through a mission, if I see something cool, I will stop it, take a screenshot, send it to my work OneDrive for yeah, this is interesting. So I'm like, this game is terrible. Terrible. It suffers of the Japanese JRPG thing of this worked at one point, so we're not going to change it. I'm just like, you should have changed it somewhere midway. You should have added accessibility options.
Did it really work, or did we just deal? Honestly.
I think
FromSoft
FromSoft game, because of their nature of them being very difficult and about having to deal.
Yeah.
If you have to learn to fight bosses and learn their stuff, and you just have to throw yourself at it until it clicks and you find the rhythm and you do the fight. What's a terrible inventory system? What's font that's 4 sizes too small?
The whole thing
Probably
will just be
really hard to
experience.
read.
Yeah, just be awful.
Yeah.
It's not for me, in my experience. I'm an okay gamer. I can get through things, but this is, I have to do things on a totally different level. I have to try to rethink all of my normal tricks or my normal things doesn't work. And so it's like I'm almost just fascinated by the journey that I have to go on to play the game as a gamer, and not necessarily just for the game. But the game is pretty. The game is interesting. The enemies are super rude. But I will suffer through this game. And if there's a game I want to play, I'm just going to put this down and play that. Like, I'll probably be playing this game for like a decade. And we'll see where I get. Like, it's just going to be one of those things because, like, it's not a game that I can just, like, muscle through or something because it's just so hard. And I definitely, like, need to have tutorials and walkthroughs to get, like, through the first, like, leg of the game, through the first boss, because I can't even get to the castle because I'm blocked. So
it's funny you say that, Joelle, because I tried the Visions of Mana demo when I heard that it was available, and I downloaded it, and it threw at me. Like, it's definitely not the beginning of the game. They're throwing you somewhere in the middle, and they're just throwing tutorials at you. Like, there's just too much, and they don't actually, like, get you to learn it. They're just like, here's a mechanic, here's a mechanic, here's a mechanic, here's a mechanic. And I was like, holy sweet mother, I need to wait and play this from the beginning. Because there's like a not enough, and then a way too much. Now, I understand that this is not what the end game is going to be. But still, it was like, woof, too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's something to be said about not giving enough, like, or the happy balance between the two. What is too much? What is too little? Right?
I agree. I wish, because there's things where it's like you have to talk to this PC like 4 times to get a thing, and I'm like, I would never. I don't have the instinct to just sit and talk to someone 4 times because I've never played a From game before. And so I do wish that, I know that they will never do this, but I do wish there was like a new player mode where it was like, here's how you play a From game, instead of me like having to go on the internets and like trying to figure out how I play a From game. Because I just have to, it's a totally different, it's like I'm playing a new genre of game. And
I have somebody at work. He has 2 small children, so he gets like 45 minutes of game time per night, if ever. So, and he was like, I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm like, how? He's like, with a guide?
Yeah.
He's like, I got 45 minutes. Like, I don't have time to look around and fuck about. And, you know, he's like, okay, go to this area. There's going to be this, this, and this. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, maybe that's how I need to experience Elden Ring. Maybe that's what I need to do. I haven't tried it yet. Never played a FromSoft game before, but I mean, I might do that.
I think it would be maybe an interesting exercise, Kat, and just seeing maybe what you want to do as a player and as a dev, and then what the game will allow or won't allow. You know what I mean? I think that could be interesting. So instead of thinking like, almost think of it as like an experiment of like game theory, right? Or like game structure, and like, okay, you're going to interact with this game. It may or may not be super different from what else you've experienced, and then notice like what they're kind of require from you as a player, which is just really different than what I've experienced in other games. So I guess that's how I'm trying to take it and not get uber annoyed. And then just use a guide. I'm just gonna have to use a guide because I don't want to. I don't want to keep losing all my stuff. You also lose all your shit when you die, and I'm like, I don't want to keep doing that either, because then I'm going to be so under leveled and everything. So, yeah,
it's everything about this game turns me away. I'm going to be honest. So, I am definitely going to try more like a demo or play through his library, so I don't have to buy it, because I'm willing to give it a try, but you know, I played my first game when I was 4 years old. I am now 39 years old. I've gotten to the point where I know if I'm going to like a game or not.
Yeah.
And I have a pretty good idea of what I'm looking for in games as well. And for me, it's
Horizon?
Yeah. I like the story. I like the exploration.
Yeah.
And FromSoft games are like, hey, the story's implied. And you got to watch these YouTubers like do these deep dive and these theory crafts and stuff like. I'm like, or hear me out. I could play stuff like Horizon that has like all voice acted and stuff, and it's like, shoot robot dinosaurs in between the super drama about a post-apocalyptic world, and I'm down with that. And that game can be as hard if you take the difficulty setting and you put it through the ground to get, like, my friend played that game like on the highest setting, and he was like, this game's hard. I was playing on normal, like on easy, I think. And I was like, what are you talking about? These dinos are dying. Like, these robots are taking 2 arrows and dying. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah. Anyway, we'll see next week if I get to Elden Ring. I probably won't this week, though.
Okay.
I still have to finish Burning Shores. Okay. And I gotta do construction work around the house.
There's your Elden Ring for you.
My RLL Elden Ring.
Get
my
good,
brother,
Catherine. Get good.
My brother handing me a caulking gun, being like, "All right, let's recaulk your bathroom."
Joelle, what have you been playing?
I did finish the Super Mario RPG experience.
What'd you think?
It was the best. Like, they obviously loved the game and they wanted to give the fans a great experience, and they sure delivered in spades. So, I did get a little teary-eyed at some points, just because thinking about, as you're playing certain points of the game, it's like, oh, I remember what this was like, and now it looks so much better, and the playthrough was great. It ran really well on the Switch. I actually had very little frame rate issues, which I was pleasantly surprised about. And it was wonderful, and I actually am really happy that I have it in my library, because I do have it. I have the cartridge in storage with my SNES, and then I do have the digital copy. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually really glad I have that, because if I want to dive back in to play it, like, I have that opportunity. And I think my playthrough, I did throw it on easy just so I could kind of sail through and enjoy the ride, because there are some parts that can get kind of tricky. I think it took me like 7 hours to roll through. I only had to look up like one thing that I didn't remember how to do. But it was so fun. So I'm really glad that I played that, and then I'm now going to jump back to Elden Ring and continue my suffering. So
Nice. Well, if you want to take a break on like Wednesday, there's a game coming out that might, give you a little breather from the torture that is Elden Ring. Mm-hmm. It's called Creatures of Ava, and I started playing it this weekend. It's funny because I got the Visions of Mana demo, and then the next day this showed up in my inbox as a code to play, and I was like, well, I guess I know what I'm doing. So yeah, it releases on Wednesday of this week. It's an adventure game / creature saver. And the reason I said that is because it very much is like a cross between Slime Rancher, Pokemon Snap, Zelda with no combat, and really gives Avatar vibes. And when I say Avatar, I mean the movie, not the game. Because you're essentially helping to cure or save a planet from a virus. Oh. So you play as this character named Vic, who's like a researcher, and you're brought to this planet that is having these issues. It's called Ava. And the way that you're supposed to help save the planet, or at least preserve the knowledge and the info of the planet, is because you're helping round up the creatures that are on there and do research. It's almost like, gives you kind of like Noah's Ark vibes a little bit, like you're trying to collect so many of them. There are beings that live on this planet. I can't tell you, they're not human. I guess they're like animal humanoid kind of things. I can't, they don't really reference any particular creature. But yeah, they live there. And there's this one guy who's like a explorer himself, and you meet up with him in the beginning. And when you greet him, he explains that there's like magical, mystical powers of this place, and you're given like this wand-like device that helps you rid the world of the virus, helps you save the creatures, and then also helps you do puzzle solving. That's where it kind of gets to the Zelda side of things. So your main task while you're there, there's like this one main kind of like town, city, village area where all these creatures live, and you're set up shop with your research lab, and you're supposed to go out around and take pictures of the creatures, both infected and healthy. You can pet them. You can befriend them through this like musical style, and this is where it kind of leads me more into Zelda, because it's like a flute, like ocarina, and you have to like listen to what the creatures, the sounds the creature makes, and repeat it, and then they kind of like you, and they will follow you, and you go to these zones that these little bots have, and you can like teleport them up to wherever they're getting collected to. It's supposed to be like a sanctuary or something like that. And, as you do that, you're trying to collect all the research elements that you're trying to find for each individual area. There's, like, 4 different areas in the game. And, so there's a skill tree, and you can build up your skills as you go along. There are spots that you have to zap and clear the virus and clear the virus from the creatures. So you need... that gets more and more difficult, so you have to get more skills and things to be able to do that. You can die in the game. There's not really the most combat there is the fact that the creatures can come attack you. So I've encountered so far. The creatures that are infected can come and attack you, and if you die, it's not like the worst thing ever. You just kind of go back to the last like potential save point where you had something that would have put a marker in it. You can just save in the menu. There's not like spheres that you go up to like in Final Fantasies and things like that where you actually need to go to it. It's more like you can save whenever or go back to a key point where the system would have saved for you. And so it's not you don't really lose too much, just a little bit of progress. It's not a big deal. But it's kind of like combat light, I guess you could kind of say. It's not too bad. I actually fell off the cliff and died at one point, and that was the worst of it all. But yeah, it's a beautiful game, very soothing. The creatures are really cute, and when you pet them, because you know how there's that account on Twitter is like, can you pet the dog in the game? Yeah, kind of thing. Like you can pet every creature. Aww. And they're so cute. They all do like different actions and stuff when you pet them. I love it. And though you are going through space and the areas, and there's like one that's kind of like the grasslands, and another one's kind of like a jungle, and like we kind of have what our own mental pictures of what that looks like because we're here on Earth. These places are definitely another planet, but they look just as lush and colorful as you would anticipate, and super gorgeous type of game. Exactly what I needed to play, I think, after last week not really enjoying Potion Craft, even though I put the good old college try into that one. But, this is what I needed, was something kind of this. Because I loved Pokemon Snap. The thing that I didn't like about Pokemon Snap is that you were stuck in almost like on rails trying to do this. This is, free, go on, run, go wherever you want to go, that kind of thing. And gotta love something where it's just like a task that I have to do over and over again. Collect it, heal the animals, send the animals to the sanctuary. So yeah, I'm about 20 hours in. I'm really liking it. Like I mentioned, it comes out August 7th says Wednesday of this week. On Xbox Series X and S and PC, it is on Game Pass. So if you're interested, give it a go. Because, it's a nice and soothing, pretty game that, just take the edge off. Because sometimes we play things that are a little bit more on the aggressive side. And this is a little bit more wholesome in that sense.
Are you talking about Elden Ring?
Maybe. or Joelle, making her way through Senua. Because that was a lot for you.
That was
that one needs a palate cleanser.
That was very stressful.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a cute game. I don't think it's going to be super long as I go through. But yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm jonesing to play more of it. So
it looks like a very Leah game. Not gonna lie.
I like these games that are super colorful and soothing, and you say about like playing what you want to play, and I'm very much that right now. I'm like, what scratches the itch that I want to scratch in the type of games that I like to play, and less am I trying stuff just because or playing games just because I feel like I need to play it because we do this. Yeah. Too old for that now.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on a walk down memory card lane. Each week, the team will have to guess a historical game that would have released during the time of this episode's airing. We'll start with the release date. I'll give hints about the game, and then the team is going to have to attempt to guess what it is. As always, ladies, you can talk it out. This game released on August 9th of 2016.
Oh, 2016. Fall. Gosh, I feel like that's going to be a big one.
Yeah. 2016. And I'm going to get the next hint.
Yeah.
Okay. First released on PS4 and PC, then later came to Xbox One and more consoles, and then it supported cross-platform play in 2020.
Is it Monster Hunter World?
No.
Is it Rainbow Six Siege?
No.
Did we already
Siege.
do Rainbow?
Did we do Siege? I feel like we did Siege.
Yeah,
We did
I know
For Honor.
Siege.
I don't know. I have to go back and look through my list.
But Siege is 2016. That's what I remember. Okay.
Is it Dishonored?
No.
That was a good guess. Okay, next hint.
Yeah.
It is an action-adventure survival game, not an MMO. Though you may run into someone, it's just very unlikely.
Don't Starve?
Nope.
You may run into... is it Sons of the Forest?
Nope.
Not an MMO, but you may run into someone?
But not likely. So it's a like a lone survivor.
Huh.
I'm a survivor.
Is it Daisy?
No. One other hint?
Yeah.
There is no story.
What's the deal with these games not having a story? What do you mean there's no story?
There's no
What
story.
does that mean?
You mean like
There are tasks
Minecraft?
to do, but there's no story. It's not Minecraft.
Yeah, but in the same idea, or...
Minecraft kind of has a story. Kind of. It's highly debated, but kind of has a story.
So is it like is it puzzly? Survivor puzzle? Did you say it was open world? I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, it's open world.
It's open
It's
world,
not in my
okay.
list, but yes, it's
Okay.
it's an action adventure survival game.
Yeah, action
not
adventure.
an MMO, but
Yeah.
you may run into somebody. It's just fairly unlikely.
Action adventure.
Oh, is it No Man's Sky?
You got it.
Nice, Scott. Nice job.
What gave it away, Kat?
Eventually, it's not an MMO, but you may meet somebody, but it's unlikely. I'm like, oh, that sounds like like those space games, like No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous,
Yeah.
Space
where if you
games.
meet
So-
people, you have to go like back to a station.
Well, I don't even think in No Man's Sky, and I've only played a hot minute of it, but I don't even think, like, because of how wide it's kind of done, they said, like, technically you can see other people. It's just unlikely. So yeah, August 9th, 2016. It was first released on PS4 and PC. Kat, remember when we were at E3 when they talked about this game?
Yeah.
Many months ago. 2013.
Sold the world to that game.
Sold the world.
Did not deliver day one.
Yeah. Later on, Xbox One more consoles supporting cross-platform play in 2020. Action-adventure survival game, not an MMO, though you may run into someone, just very unlikely. There is no story. It was given VR support. The game launched with no multiplayer, but it was introduced later update. The music was created by 65 Days of Static, and they held a concert for it at a PlayStation Experience. It's known for its procedural generation. Since its release, it has received numerous free updates, including Foundation, Pathfinder, Atlas, Rise, Next, and beyond. The game received criticism for not meeting the high expectations set by the pre-release marketing. That is No Man's Sky.
Wow.
It eventually met those expectations, just many years and many updates.
Yeah, later.
Yeah, and I believe it's still a small team that works on it. I think they started with 4 people, and now they're at 13 or something. So yeah, it took them a little bit of time, but and they got there eventually. But it was the running joke of the video game industry for a bit, kind of like, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
What else? What other broken games were there? Cyberpunk.
Yeah, games that had a shoddy release that had a
or just became memes themselves.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
But then they had a redemption arc after time. There's
took
Rainbow
some time.
Six Siege, For Honor, No Man's Sky.
Did Rainbow Six Siege really have a crappy? Oh, really?
Yeah, it was if you're looking at the state of Rainbow right now, nothing to do with when it released. It released and it had okay reviews or good reviews, but there was For Honor, they had server stability issues. I forget other things, but it's the kind of game that had to grow into what it become. It wasn't an instant success or an instant it.
Well, they had it designed for esports, and then I think they struggled a little bit trying to find its place.
Yeah, it eventually did.
It got there, but it took some time. Yeah,
it's For Honor. The big thing is they launched with P2P, so the connection was crappy, latency was crappy, and for any kind of online game where you have to kill the other, whether it's melee or gun, it wasn't great. So the dedicated server saved that game. No Man's Sky, they had to have many updates before they got to where, and right now it's regarded as one of the best games, in terms of space exploration. It's up there. People love that game, but it took the state of the current No Man's Sky is what people love, not what was launched. I remember Simon trying to play, and he was the FOV is terrible. He's he couldn't play it, and it was buggy and it crashed, and they eventually fixed it. I think also Witcher 3 had a lot of issues with combat that they fixed later. And that game found an even wider audience once they fixed combat controls.
Okay.
A lot of games like that. I mean, we also remember Assassin's Creed Unity having a rocky launch. But once they stabilized the game, which by the way took a patch or two, that game actually did very well. It's a very good Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, but Watch Dogs, the original, too, came out promising a lot, and then was kind of blamed that they didn't deliver on a lot of that.
Of the features, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it was just the at that time the graphics weren't there where they are now, and so they wanted to do kind of what they are now, and they couldn't get there. Especially in that scene that we watched with it was a police chase with him hacking stuff and Aiden Pierce hacking things.
Yeah, there's a lot of the consoles, they will lock you a lot in terms of budgets, and then you can't sometimes you have to design for your lowest denominator, and for us it's the PlayStation. On my project it's the PlayStation 4, so there's only so much you can do with that budget. Mind you, I get it. I'm on a live game. I'm on a multiplayer game, but a lot of multiplayer games I find had to readjust and find their audience. So, like, No Man's Sky is not alone in that category of the underdog that had a major comeback. I think we did an episode at one point on comeback games.
We should do it again. I feel like
we chatted about No Man's Sky and Rainbow Six Siege, if I remember correctly. We've done too many of these.
We're getting closer and closer to 500. Okay, let's get into some news. Okay, so, news. Let's start with the happy thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And let's do this quick because we have the gift of gab this week.
Ain't that truth?
So there's a new Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I called it a trailer, but it's basically a video detailing how to traverse Hyrule, traversing Hyrule. So they show the different, basically biomes, different areas. Spoiler: there's Gerudo Desert with there's the Gorons, and then there's the Zoras, and you have River Zoras and Sea Zoras. So they're different. And there's Elden Volcano, they call it. In other places, what did they call the forest? But it basically looks like Kokiri Forest, but I don't think it's called Kokiri Forest. I'm going through the video here trying to see the... But the best part is you get a horse, and in order to call you horse, you know how like you're basically your power is 3D printing. You know, you have objects and you throw objects. Mm-hmm. You throw a carrot on the ground.
Aww.
And it calls your horse.
Yay.
So you use your 3D photocopying powers. I forget the official name of it.
Echoes.
But,
isn't that called Echoes?
Yeah. So basically you have to have an echo of a carrot, and you throw the echo of the carrot on the ground, and then you have a horse show up.
Love it.
And the horse is fucking adorable. It is so chubby. It is so round and pudge, and just has the derpiest of little... I fucking can't already.
Yeah.
I am so excited for this game.
Yeah, this game's gonna be so
They
fun.
didn't need to show me this. I was in already. This just makes it worse. And I'm like scrolling to the end. I'm like, when does this game come out again? Oh, yeah, end of next month.
Give it to me now.
Yeah. And they explain the power...
A month and a half, 2 months away.
Yeah. And they explain the power that you have where you can bind two objects, and using that binding you can move like giant boulders and stuff like that. So not only do you have echoes that you can basically copy objects, have them all over, you can also control some objects in the environment. So that's going to add to the puzzle solving. And yeah, there's more in the trailer.
One that was interesting, Kat. I don't know if you caught on this. There was like where you grab or you mimic or bring an echo of a spider, and you can use that to climb up walls.
Yes, I was like, this is very smart. So this is like some Horizon stuff where you override certain machines to do shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's like with the bond or the binding, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can do. The puzzle solving in this game is going to be off the chart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I know it's like a cute, like, top-down 3D look that's supposed to, like, mimic about, like, the old school Zelda games, like the Game Boy and DS games. But I think, like, the puzzle solving is going to be on the level of Tears of the Kingdom with this game.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be amazing. Game of the year.
Yeah.
Prediction.
Also, we finally a Zelda game where you play Zelda.
Yes.
Love
yes.
it.
Love it.
There are other games where you play Zelda, but like a full-fledged...
Well...
Like you either like... You're not... It's not the only character you can play, but a full-fledged, like you... Like Zelda is the heroine.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
Yes. It is this game.
It's gonna be amazing.
The other story that we have is definitely not as happy. And it's around Game Informer and their closure. Catherine, you want to bring us up to speed?
Yeah. So GameStop announced that it would be shutting down Game Informer after 33 years. So the website of Game Informer is basically, if you go to GameInformer.com, all you see is a landing page saying, "We're out. Thank you. And thanks, so long and thanks for all the fish," basically. And it's sad because they're like 33 years of archives.
Yeah.
Of content, of reviews, guides, game journalists, just gone. And Game Informer started as a magazine. So 33 years of like archives, like I guess like the magazine survives because it's physical media, but a lot of the website is gone.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember on Friday I was trying to look up. I was actually trying to decide what I was going to pick for a counterpick game and was looking up some previews for games for the Fantasy Critic. And I looked up one and I clicked on the link on Google and it brought me to the Game Informer dead page. And I was like, sucks.
Stab.
Like the thought of like all of that content gone.
Yeah.
Like why not just leave it up there for a bit?
Yeah.
Like it's gone. It's absolutely gone.
And it's like in this article from The Verge I'm going to link, like there's so many people like game devs that are going to talk about like some of their most iconic moments in their careers. Like I can't properly pronounce his name, but Michael of CD Projekt Red said like for the Witcher 3 launch that they had like a front cover piece. They were like the front cover of Game Informer. Aww. And for that was like for the studio that was like peak.
Yeah.
And cover stories by Game Informers were like peak. And for most of us that maybe stopped reading the magazine, I still went to that website often.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, when I grew up, it was because I was in Newfoundland. It was a lot harder to get your hands on a whole like magazines around video games and things like that. I knew that Nintendo Power existed because a friend had one, but that's about it that I knew about. Like, oh my god, there's magazines about video games. It wasn't till I was in university and kind of in Montreal and like traveling more, and when you'd go into like Hudson's News or Relay or something in the airport and you go through, or when we finally got a Chapters home and they'd have that section with the magazines, and then I was like, holy crap, there's a magazine all about video games. It was like that. And besides Nintendo Power, there was EGM too, I think, but like I remember seeing it and they always had these really slick covers and it was always really interesting. And like, it's after going through design school and knowing how much effort it is to put a magazine together too, especially considering the state of affair that we are in right now when it comes to news. Like, how do they, as a magazine that has to be put together and in advance and printed and sent out, able to compete against internet websites that can like get a post up in 5 minutes? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like succeed. It's just really sad that, like, you kind of expect it to go at some point, but, like, the way that they just shut the doors on everybody that worked there was kind of wild. The fact that none of it exists on the internet right now. So, hopefully, a little bit of light here at the end of this really weird tunnel is that Min-Max is a podcast and group that do a bunch of content about video games. My understanding is they are some ex-Game Informer, because Game Informer had let some people go prior, previous years, because, things were getting hard on them. So they had let some other people go. And they went and started doing Min-Max. We're doing better for it. Now they're actually starting the celebration of Game Informer at Min-Max, where they're actually going to do a series of features and podcasts highlighting the magazine and everything that was done there. And I was listening to a bunch of podcasts over the course of the week and weekend, and they were mentioning that on the Min-Max Discord server, people are actually trying to save some of it. Maybe they're going back into the Wayback Machine, because you know how they have that, like the Internet of, like, you can go back in there and look at your website from years ago.
Internet Archive, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully they're trying to save a bunch of it, or if people had pieces saved, like their write-ups before they publish it and things like that. So yeah, at least they're doing the work to hold on to it, because that's the thing. It's like stuff's on the internet and it could disappear in a heartbeat, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing's permanent. Luckily they have magazines to show, like physical magazines printed out, but there's a lot of content that we create right now and games that are made and things that like just could disappear in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and that website, they had their website as of, the magazine started in 1991. They had their website as of 1996.
Wow. One of the first.
Yeah. So,
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah, it
definitely.
It just really, it just like really stinks that, like you said, Leah, it was really sudden, and they're not giving any due diligence or educating, the internet fans of like what this was and what this meant to people, and it just, just that attitude really stinks, and it seems like it's becoming more and more of a popular attitude in the gaming industry, right? Where they're, not supporting servers and just kind of taking things down, and I don't know. I have a friend who is a very steadfast believer in buying physical copies of games and buying physical memorabilia of games, because he just he doesn't want like his memories and stuff to just vanish like this, and so it doesn't send a great message to fans or to people like of our generation of like what might be to come. I don't know. It is really disheartening.
Yeah, I also heard that they were halfway through their next magazine. I mean, why not just let that one play out?
Yeah, just like let
that
be
their last one.
Yeah, like
right?
Give them a swan song. Like give them something to go out on and like have a good memory of. It just reminisces of like the type of leadership that's like that made this decision. Honestly, just does not care about the people, like about fans.
Yeah,
but the people that like they don't care.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
So sad.
But
the internet. Yeah, the internet's not always a fun place because we have sad stories, fun stories, and sad stories all in the same week. And with that, we close out the show. This episode of the Girls on Games podcast. If you'd like to check out show notes, see all the stories that we talked about, the two in particular, you can go to girlsongames.ca for links to all of that. Thank you, Catherine. Every week we're putting that together. If you'd like to rate and review this podcast where you're consuming it, that would be much appreciated. Why pushes us up in rankings. We'd love to hear what you have to say, as it helps us develop our show. This is also the moment in the podcast where I like to give the crew the chance to shout out their social media handles, so you can follow them anywhere and everywhere online. Catherine, where can people find you?
I am CSDSBINS on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. I posted some screenshot of Horizon Burning Shores and some screen photos of my little garden. I grew.
I saw the garden ones. They're cute.
Tomatoes and beans.
Yeah. Joelle, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, on X at gamer_comfy, but all day hanging out in the Girls on Games Discord. Come and say hi.
Kat, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What
were you saying? I was just going to say I'm always in the Girls on Games Discord anyway.
Okay, cool. And I am Leah Jewer on most social media platforms, but of course, you want to know everything there's about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games, know that in there, and Instagram and Threads. Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more, but of course, if you ever want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That is our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Joelle. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I'm off to play Creatures of Ava. Bye!
Bye!
Bye!